All right, now welcome to SC Custom Designs. It is a Saturday afternoon. We're down in the wood shop. QA software guy in the daytime, lunches, evenings, and weekends. Wood shop all the way. Thanks for coming into my shop. I've got you zoomed in here on the 14-inch jet bandsaw because I want to show you a tip, some tips and tricks. And also there is a subscriber of ours that said, I just can't, my words, just can't seem to get this blade on or off, something like this. And I'm going to take you off the mount, so stay tuned. And I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. But I think I've been through the journey that you're in at this time. Basically, they said, I just can't get the blade on. And that was that. But before we get to that, I want to talk quickly about our new adventure. And that is, we are working on dragons. This is version number 2, which may be more of a Chinese sort of looking dragon. And the very first ones that I've made look like this. So we have this style, and we now have this style. So this guy is been cut out of pine. This is the very first one. He is going to become my template. It's a great idea to make template out of oak. So I've got 2 of these guys. The other one is a little bigger. All right, and so that's what that is. And what I want to do, you can imagine trying to trace this, this thick piece out, trying to trace that with a pencil. The pencil's not going to get down in there the way you'd like it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. Now this is a lot of work to go through to take a chance on your blade, your bandsaw not being set up correctly. Now if I'm going to ride against this fence, at the very least, what can happen to it is it'll start cutting here, and then it'll start wandering off into some direction. So what at the very least, the first thing you're going to want to do is take a square, and I've already done this to save time, and make sure that your table is square to the blade. Now, another thing is this. Make sure that the stock you're cutting is also square to the table. Now, I've had pieces of stock where the case was that it was a little bit this way, I'm exaggerating, or this way. So when the blade's coming through, naturally it's not going to cut the way you want it to. Before, and there's another way, method of cutting, by the way. If I wanted to cut this guy in half, I could take and sandwich this piece of wood, and I could go through and cut it in half that way. That to me would be very, very safe thing to do. But I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be okay with pushing this guy through. Now, why is that? Because what you do, you take a sacrificial piece, and you're going to run that guy through. All right, and I've already started to do just that, and I can see that it is cutting straight through. This is what we call resawing. Okay, so what I did is I'm going to flip it over. I drew a line, and I can see that it's cutting straight across that line. Let's go ahead and finish this subject. All right, it's a little teeny bit off, which is not a huge concern. At the end of the day, all I really want to do is cut the dragon in half. And trust me, I'm going to go nice and slow when I do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Lower down the fence a little bit more. All right, and well, let's make sure we're going to fit the entire way. All right, that's the maximum amount that I'll need to go through. And so here we go. I'm looking at this, and it looks like it's more than halfway. Now, through the stock. So let's adjust that. Okay, let's unplug the unit. And don't forget, subscriber, we're going to go over a few reasons why you're not able to get that blade on. So we're going to take a square, okay, and I've got it right up against my mag fence 2. I'm not sponsored by Carter, but this is a blade, magnetized fence that allows you to ride material against it. So I'm just going to set that up. I'm going to eyeball it. Not going to get crazy about this and say, are you approximately in the middle? And I'm saying that you are. Okay, so take the square, make sure that we're all set, pushed against. There's 2 knobs in the back. You just turn them down. They're rare magnets, and that's not really going anywhere. All right, so that's that. And then once you get it set up, it's also a good idea to take a pencil and just go ahead and put a line on there. Okay, there's my line. If I have to remove this for some reason, let's say the blade came off. Why will your blade come off? There's a lot of reasons why it'll come off. Some obvious ones are when your wheel becomes very, very dirty. I know you can't see this, but when your wheels become very, very dirty, or you don't have the blade set, you want the curve to be in the middle of the wheel. I apologize, you can't see all that. But if you pull the stock out too fast, or and the wood is binding on the blade, well, it's going to pull the blade off. I actually just did that when I was practicing and getting set up. So let's go ahead and take this dragon and cross our fingers here. Make sure that we cut him just in half. Oh yeah, I unplugged. It's a very good idea to unplug power tools when they're not in use. And that just happened. One thing I did forget to do, and obviously this isn't going to go on. I'll just look at it in the review the video, try to figure out what happened there. Something terribly went wrong. It could have been because I didn't have that plate on. I did notice that. So what I'm going to do now, that was a lot of work. So it just demolished that thing. We'll have to do it again. In the meantime, I think what I'll do is draw this thing on here. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'm going to draw it directly on the piece of oak that I have